So, Stefano, I want to talk to you a little bit about the process of building a product. So, perhaps you can tell me a little bit about what the process is and how we've approached it.
Yeah, for sure. I think the process of building something new inevitably has to be very iterative in nature, right? And I think that that's something we've gotten right from the start. So adopting, inspiration from agile and from Scrum and orienting our design and coding sprints in that way, I think has been really helpful. And I also think that there's a ton of true agility that needs to happen here, right? We learn something new from our customers. There's no point in us completing some cycle for the purposes of just completing it. And we should act quickly on the information that we receive. And so over this process, I think we've had quite a few sessions where it's basically just us sitting down with like a whiteboard or some Post-its or something and trying to make sense of what even is it that we're trying to do. There are sessions beyond that where we're trying to refine those, right? So going from a divergent number of ideas and converging down into a few. And then there's a number of sprints in terms of getting those things into place, right? And the engineering team ebbs and flows in terms of, do we have enough detail to go out and build this? Or do we need to sit down and scope this out more fully? And typically there's a couple of almost mini cycles happening within one large cycle of this process of refining what it is that we're trying to do. But yeah, I would say it's very agile. So it depends on what's going on at any given time, what information we're getting. And it's very iterative. We're focused on getting things done as quickly as possible so that we can test them and see whether or not we're on the right track. But yeah, it's a little bit of the process to get here.
Do you see that process changing at all?
Yeah, I think in the process of building our MVP, we're basically making a bet of what we think will solve our customers' problems, right? I think the process of iterating from our initial MVP to in the pursuit of product market fit through V1s and V2s and V3s, etc. As we start to get closer and closer to that product market fit, there's probably a significant change in terms of let's stop trying to do things super quickly just to validate whether or not they're good. At this point, we have that validation that we need. Let's now focus on doing things the right way, right? And setting this thing up so that we can scale it rapidly and effectively over time. So I do think our cycles will tend to become more and more formalized and well-defined over time. I think that our team is likely to grow in that direction as well, bringing in well-seasoned career professionals who can come in and they can play that role of going from what us, the crazy ones, the kamikazes, kind of coming into the party and just getting something in place. And from that, starting to pave the way, so to speak, in terms of, a more cohesive and solid and robust product. So I see them changing in that way.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
All right, Mr. George, question for you now. So this has been a curiosity of mine from product development. We talk about being customer driven, right? And needing to have validation from our customers. However, it's hard to have validation in the form of revenue before you have a product. And it's hard to have a product before you know if you can make revenue from it. So it's a bit of a chicken and the egg problem. I'm just curious from your perspective, like how do you think as a business we've navigated this challenge?
Good question. And I think I lean a lot on my past for how we've approached it at Vivacity, right? The experience that I've had previously. If I look back at a previous company that I was running, which is a data center company, our monthly interest payments were roughly about the same amount as what we generate on a monthly basis, revenue-wise now. And we didn't have any customers back then. So we were paying a huge amount of costs with very little revenue. And you get thick skin pretty quickly doing that. But clearly that's not the best way to be. And so my approach with Vivacity has always been, well, look, let's get ourselves to a point where we have customers who are willing to pay us money for services that we offer, and at the same time, try and be innovative on the, and build a team around that side of things. And I'd say I much prefer this approach. It's nice to run a company that is somewhat profitable, and it's nice to look your colleagues in the eye and go, look, you have a job, and you're going to have a job for at least the next 12 months, and we're going in the right direction, and we've got to believe in that. And you take that uncertainty and that risk a little bit off the table, right? It's one less thing to worry about in an already extremely stressful space.
Mm-hmm.
So my approach has always been to find customers, generate revenue, and add value there, and at the side try and build something that's innovative and new.
Mm-hmm.